What's up, guys? It's me, Pez Flips, and we are trying the 0.5 again today, since you guys seemed to enjoy that. I'm also socked, if you couldn't tell. And I'm flipping the Aluminami, of course, but I don't know. It's not just any Aluminami. In fact, it's an Aluminami that's even harder to flip than the other one. And that is because it is the DI Reade. I think we have autofocus on. Obviously, the camera quality is not going to be as good on the 0.5, so bear with me. But, yeah, that's the Aluminami with the DI Reade. Now, this guy's a little funky. Not the best flipper, but honestly, it's just a little bit more unique. Has a bit more of a value just because it is like slightly more blade bias now, even more so. Well, not that actually, the other one wasn't blade bias. The other one was actually neutral, I would say, but this one is definitely blade bias. So, for the novelty of having another blade bias knife in the collection, that's that. Oh, what's down there? Oh my god, did you guys hear that? My bedtime reminder just came on. If you didn't, it sounded like a goo goo gaga, I'm about to go to sleep. But what is this? That's right. You can fit the Baliplus aluminum tsunami blade on the arm shark handles, and it actually sounds good somehow. I don't know. People have been asking me, and I know it kind of worked. I didn't really watch the video all the way through, the one that was provided by BBKS, their Balisong channel. But I figured, hey, you know, I don't really flip the aluminum one too much, and why not do it? And, yeah, I just did it just like a couple of minutes ago, and I was so surprised by the quality that I had to start recording for you guys. This thing is surprisingly good for its tolerances. I will notice that its closed gap is slightly larger now. Visibly, I don't think it shows up like that, but in the hand, it does feel a little wide. The closed gap, honestly, from memory, I can't say. Maybe slightly farther apart. But all in all, like, this thing looks really good. And obviously the machining, if we compare them to one another, now it's not going to look great because, again, 0.5, let me bring you up to the light. You'll be able to see that, I mean, this one's beat, but the depth of the texturing is actually, the depth of the texturing is more on the DI blade. But the metal itself is kind of a rougher look, whereas on the aluminum one, it's not great. Don't get me wrong, it's not great, but it does offer a little bit more of a refined look, a more polished look. Now, I bought the prototype for the DI. You guys have heard me say how I'm not like there's a goop on it. How I'm not like the biggest fan of the DI Reade. But balance-wise, I think that it's a little bit better than the Baliplus one. I need to spend some more time with this guy to really give my definitive thoughts. But the first thing I can feel is that it doesn't feel the same. They are two different weight profiles. The DI blade is much heavier, to the point where it is noticeable. I mean, much is maybe a little bit hyperbolic, but yeah, this thing definitely has a little bit more of a handle bias thing going for it. The fans are okay. There's a little bit of wobble that's introduced with this, but it's not, by no means like excessively handle biased now. Let's do the swing test so you guys can see. So you can see it's just like slightly handle bias, which from my understanding is kind of like the look, the way that the actual one flips. So yeah, I'll need to spend more time, like I said, to get more familiar with this guy. But obviously, I haven't flipped a Nami with good tolerances in a long time. It's interesting. I actually tuned the bushings on the Aluminami to around like 0.1 actually for millimeters, like 0.1 millimeters instead of 0.5, because when I would do 0.5, it would bind. So I thought it was the blade, but switching it onto this, switching it from the aluminum handles onto the tie handles, which are from Armshark, which will have better machining, more even handles, I don't feel it. Like, it's much bouncier, and you can see the play there. I can like work it down a little bit more, honestly. I'm not sure if I really want to. Now I wish I remember where I put the other ones, because they were binding before and I might have thrown them out. But tolerance wise, man, this thing has way more bounce. The DI one was always like kind of a trouble, and I just never bothered to really tune them. So it was just fine as is, because this has been my beater. I don't think it won't be my beater, to be honest. It doesn't go out too often now. I do bring it out, but I definitely have been bringing the Black Kraken out more with the static reblade, because that is my project knife for it getting beat. So this guy's great. You know, I've dropped this guy everywhere, and you know, I know that titanium was going to hold up. This was a big purchase when I first started flipping, but this guy has been through a lot, and it honestly looks pretty good. Obviously, this camera doesn't have that kind of detail, but a polished, like raw titanium look really hides the damage that it has much better than anything that's going to be anodized or anything. And like the hidden buff of titanium, or like just like a raw look, is, man, these things look good in flash. Like the way that they just pick up light is really cool. So yeah, the tolerances and the weight are good. I wouldn't say exceptional, but good. And it's nice to hear. It's nice to hear Nami actually have bounce again. It's been a long time since I've had one that has bounce. So yeah, if you guys are really looking for a reblade, I would say that the Aluminami is obviously the way to go. I don't think DI even sells them anymore, but if you're going secondhand, the Aluminami blade is going to have more of the standard issue machining with chamfering already done for you in the pivot holes, which was my main gripe with the DI one, is that it's just kind of impossible to tune. And it is what it is. You know, DI has kind of come and gone, it seems, but you know, they've mentioned making clones in the future. I don't think personally I'll buy one unless they have good reviews from other people, because I've kind of soured my reputation with them. And I don't really want to support the Blue River Tsunami, even though people are selling it secondhand, which technically isn't supporting it. It just feels like it's crossing that barrier. And also, you know, not to be that guy, but there is some truth behind like not wanting to flip something that is really controversial, because I don't feel like getting hate. It's just not really worth it at that point. And I have other Balis. So, you know, if you already have it, give it a try if you have both of them, and you'll be actually pleasantly surprised. I think this is probably the best false edge that you can get right now that doesn't cross too many ethical borders. I mean, you are already getting a clone, so maybe that doesn't matter as much to you, but yeah. For $60 and the $130 or something that I paid for the trainer and Armshark thing, it does work well. What makes me think about what I'm going to do next is, what should I do with this guy? I might put the trainer blade of the Armshark Tsunami on this and see how that flips, because that actually might help it a lot, because the trainer blade's quite light, And then I guess I'm just gonna have a floating DI blade around. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes, but that'll be for a different video. I need to dig through my old stuff and try to find that trainer. So yeah, it's been Pez Flips, and this is the new reblade on the arm shock handles for the Nami. So there you go.